Welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. And once again, it is the Barnes and Tony Show. Anthony, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing very well today. A glorious hump day here. Crazy week, dude. Definitely like my body clock is off with the holiday. You know, July 4th being yesterday. It's very, it doesn't feel like a Wednesday to me at all, dude.
No, absolutely not. And just so much going on. And what a great weekend, long weekend it was. And Sunday at the Horseshoe was unbelievable. Really enjoyed that. And shout out to the company. Great to hear from Lonnie with the call on Sunday. And I know he was commenting on Screen Time yesterday. So we really appreciate the love from the company. Really riled to be a part of it. That is for sure, Tony. You know how I am with food eating contests. So I just figured, you put it in the title. Let's just get out of the way. You watch the thing. You're more versed on it. So if you could take us through Joey Chestnut. Now, this is his 16th title at the hot dog eating contest.
16th title. I believe it's his 8th straight.
8th straight
title.
at Coney Peninsula.
Yes, at the Coney Peninsula, dude.
I mean, because I know
you know what, dude. You talk for a second. I'm gonna look up Coney. Why?
Okay. And no, I was gonna say too, because I know you're, of course. I mean, it's really about Staten Island,
right.
But you're a big New York guy, so that misnomer to call it an island. I know you got some information here regarding that, but you just would expect a little better out of New York. I would
yes,
say.
definitely. I guess it says it was formerly an island.
The Wild Rabbits changed it? That's what it's trying to say?
Yeah, I don't know what it's from, the Dutch word for rabbit island, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I mean, I know, I guess I'll do some more research, but I know, maybe they've added land to connect Brooklyn to Coney Island.
Okay.
I'm sure that's probably what happened.
And I'm just not familiar. I know they have the hot dog eating contest there, but is there anything else on Coney Island? Like, what does it look like over there?
Okay, so basically you're on the beach. That's just where it is. There's a big boardwalk that goes down. There's piers with rides and stuff like that. Obviously you have the famous Wonder Wheel there, the Cyclone roller coaster, the Cyclone Stadium. They play right there too. So you have all tons of attractions. It's like a big boardwalk and beach.
And you said you go multiple times a year?
Yeah. When I was younger, when I still lived at home with my parents, we used to go all the time. Especially, over the summer. My dad actually from Brooklyn, frequented there as a child as well, worked at a restaurant that was right there, busboy, stuff like that. So we always go there for dinner, Gargiulo's, delicious food, dude. And of course, head over to Nathan's, get a hot dog. They also have fried frog legs there, dude.
You've had them?
Yeah, I've tried them.
What does it taste like?
It's basically kind of like a chicken wing,
Yeah. Were you skeeved out at all?
I mean, definitely a little bit, it's something that you don't ordinarily get. But again, my dad growing up there is like, oh, you got to try it. I used to get all the time, delicious, whatever. And it's like a chicken wing. It's just like maybe a little bit, I guess less tender meat. It's a little tougher meat, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you had, it's so random, but have you had duck? You definitely have had the duck wings from
Sitting Duck specifically? Yes,
Yeah.
I've had those wings.
Is that the only duck exposure, or you've had other?
No, I've had like a Peking duck, from a Chinese restaurant, stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
because the reason I thought of it is just because
Right.
I think so, and everybody kind of says that tastes like chicken as
it
well.
does taste like. I feel like if you batter and fry and then put sauce on anything that's on a bone, I mean,
It's gonna taste like chicken.
that's a bird, I guess.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. When was the last time you were at Coney Island?
Oh boy. I want to say 2019, maybe.
Oh, it's been a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
You're looking to make your return, maybe a vlog.
I would love to, honestly. It's a great vlog. I will say, unfortunately, It's not the best area, Brian.
Really?
Yeah. Like it's kind of like
But I mean, is it really that much worse than Bridgeport?
um
Maybe.
maybe, dude. Yeah. It's like it's tough because it's like
Wow.
at the end, like it's like the last stop of the train station too. So there's
Yeah.
always like homeless crackheads around, and like nighttime it gets super skeevy.
So you go for the day though. You're fine.
Yeah, definitely gonna go. It's an afternoon. Like
So it could be done.
no, yeah, it could be done. It could be done.
Yeah.
And you gotta go to Nathan's, dude. It's definitely like it's the first Nathan's ever.
But and like, do you notice a difference, honestly, from like other Nathans that you've had? The taste of the dog,
The taste of the dog. I
or
mean,
is it more of an experience situation?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think they care more about their dog. I've never
Okay.
had a bad experience at that Nathan's. And then it is more of an experience, and they do have things like, they do have like things no other Nathan's has, like the frog legs, the soft shell crab sandwiches, stuff like that.
How's the
So,
soft shell crab sandwich?
amazing, dude. I love soft
I
shell
could see
crab.
that being good.
Yeah.
Like a spicy aioli with it or something.
No, it's just like a tartar sauce.
Tartar sauce. Okay,
Yeah.
a good tartar sauce.
Tartar
We talked
sauce,
about it.
yeah.
All right. So we know, like I said, your specialty is
sorry.
the Olympics, the food eating contest, Tony. So if you could just take me through the contest from yesterday and how Joey Chestnut got the job done again.
Yeah, dude. So it was very intense, obviously. It's actually pretty funny because we were watching it here actually at the studio with Manny before screen time. Because I think 10 o'clock coverage started. The women's event was at 11, I believe.
Okay.
10:30.
Yep.
So we were watching that. Nikki Sudo won for the women, her 9th time in a row.
I saw it 9 times.
9 times in a row
I
for
saw
her.
a picture on Facebook.
Yeah, that was like, honestly, sometimes the women's is way better because it's an actual competition. Like Joey Chestnut just blows people out of the water.
Right.
So this one came down like to the final second. But it was interesting because I guess like for their counts, they fucked up the counting.
Really?
Yeah, because I think she ended up winning. It was like 39-33 hot dogs.
Mhm.
When I got on the TV, the counter said 33-30 or 37-36, I think.
Okay.
So they kind of blew it a little bit, but still really good. And then of course, we're getting ready noon as well as screen time is when the men started too. But unfortunately, I guess at Coney Island, torrential downpours, lightning, thunder. Had to postpone it. They're waiting around. And then they're like, oh, we might have to like postpone this different day or just like try and wait it out. The lightning was not stopping. And Joey Chestnut said, no, like we're doing it now, dude. So I think maybe around 2 o'clock, or I think it was around 2 o'clock, 2:30 maybe when they came on. And Chestnut just absolutely dominated, dude. Obviously, there was a lot of talk of like, it's actually really funny because they're, breaking down, like any other, delay in any sports, like kind of screws up your routine. Like, especially I would imagine too, like with eating shit, like you got to be hungry, right? Like you got to be starving to get there. And then they're talking about, oh, like what are they doing with the hot dogs? Are we reheating them? Like they're going to be cold, especially at a certain temperature with the competition and stuff. But Chestnut came up, dude, and I think the over-under was set at 62.5, and he ate 62.
Oh, I don't know what. I must have got it wrong. I thought he ate like 50 something.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
I
mean, I could be
this
wrong.
erroneous reporting that they have over here. To see.
Let's see, dude. Joey.
Because I know it wasn't his personal best.
No, I think his personal best is like 73 or 75 or something. Sure. Weather delay
62. Okay,
Yeah,
so someone
62.
had it wrong.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought so.
Um,
Which I thought was is low for him. I mean, the overall, I think last year he ate 65, I think, or something. So again, that hasn't been near his personal best. But hey, man, I mean, it was definitely intense. A lot of drama, obviously, surrounding the weather delay. And
Right.
people are like, dude, like this may open the door for the people to beat him. But 8th in a row, dude.
do you know what second place was? Was it like 40 or something?
Oh no, I don't know actually. I don't think it was close though.
And I watched part of this 30 for 30, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I didn't watch all of it, or I just don't remember. Do you remember like the exact reason why Kobayashi
49.
49, okay.
Was next one, yeah.
Kobayashi, like I think he like is banned or refuses to do it. Do you know what the deal is with that?
Kobayashi, I thought he like had medical issues, like health issues with the stomach.
Okay, because I don't know why I thought he was still eating. Just see if anything comes up on Kobayashi.
I don't know. Is that his? Yeah,
I think it's actually. Oh, yeah, it might be like that. Yeah, that's got to be it. Okay.
Kobayashi had a dispute with Major League Eating, sanctioning body of Nathan's contest and others over exclusivity of its contracts.
Yep,
really,
I told
dude?
you.
That's crazy, dude. 2001 competition over a decade ago, faded, whatever. They reportedly restricted MLE signees from earning money outside of the MLE and competing in non-MLE events, and gave the MLE exclusive rights basically to that specific person, and of which they would earn.
He was arrested for jumping up in the stage in 2010.
Really? Oh my god,
that's ridiculous.
That's crazy, dude.
Wow. I don't know though. I mean, think about, so that was 2010. Here we are, 2023. You're telling me that somebody can't set up something where the two of them can just, you know what I mean, get the food bodies away from it, just a separate one-off exhibition, that somebody can't set that up? Because I feel like that's
right
what would make it compelling.
But
it's like, if you know that he's going to blow everyone away, it's nothing. But that was his top competition.
I mean, the MLE might not allow that. You know what I'm saying? Because it sounds like MLE has exclusive rights to Joey Chestnut in terms of where
they do competes. Or they don't.
It sounds like they do. That's why Kobayashi left, because he didn't want that.
Okay.
So it may have to be like, maybe he's not allowed to compete in non-sanctioned MLE events, which is kind of weak if it's still like that too.
But just have him do it on Good Morning America, Tony.
America.
You know what I mean? Just to see it, because I think that would be nice. Because I mean, I know a lot of times it's passed. I don't know if Kobayashi. I feel like he still lives stuff on the side. I don't know.
Do you like Good Morning America?
No, but no. It was a suggestion. Just because, come on, at this day and age, like, this is impossible. I mean, you figure out a way to figure it out.
I totally agree. I think it should happen. I think Downtime TV could do it.
Yeah.
We can have it right here in the studio, dude. I'll warm up the dogs.
But Kobayashi is going to want his rights, so that's the only problem.
I mean, I guess he can have the. I mean, take
the footage.
Okay, take the footage if you want. Use it.
But he's going to say we can't use it.
That's ridiculous. Not allowing that.
Yeah. Oh man. But hey, congratulations to Mr. Chestnut. Huh?
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought it up and wanted to talk about it. I just kind of thought you would ignore it today.
No, I mean, you put it in the title. So
I haven't stopped you before.
Stop. The Mets, we know. But speaking of which, let's go to the world of Major League Baseball.
It's deep to left. It's 700. Albert Pujols.
Yeah, what a play! Stop it. Yep. And Alonso cracks one of the Mets win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Throw deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
All right, guys. Brian stepped out real quick. Just have a few comments to get to from Michael Theophil. Here it comes. He says, Barnes hates hot dog eating contests. Give them no respect. Well, you got to admit, Michael, like I said before, I mean, I'm honestly really surprised Brian even brought it up. Happy Real Pride Month, fellas. Is that like, like July 4th, like American Pride? I got that, dude. Did you hear that? Yeah. Renee said, yeah. Michael, that says best sports show ever. Emily is lame. Yeah, that's kind of weak. And again, this is like a discrepancy that Kobayashi had a decade ago. Like, you would think Major League Eating would, honestly do their best to like amend that and give Joey Chestnut a proper competition. I mean, you saw it yesterday. I mean, Chestnut didn't even have a great showing. 62 hot dogs, and second place was 49. I mean, come on, man. There was no competition even, from yesterday, which is kind of, again, like, so disappointing, dude. But nonetheless, guys, we're going to get to some baseball right now. And last night, the Mets won their third straight game, dude. They have a perfect record in July, 3-0. Started their series last night in Arizona. And we had Max Scherzer on the mound, who was looking to get, I believe, his 6th win in a row, which is what he did. I believe his record now improves to 8-2 with this victory against Arizona, a team, who's not bad, honestly. I mean, especially when you look at record wise, I mean, they're 50 and 36. So, I mean, they're well, obviously a much better record than the Mets. But let's get it started here. Mets top of the first. Zach Davies pitching for Arizona. We know, he could be a pretty talented pitcher. Leadoff walk though to Nimmo, but then turn double play, strikes out Lindor for a quick inning for him. But then bottom of the first here, Max Scherzer on the mound, like I mentioned, having some good starts in terms of winning. For me, still have some trouble with the long ball, which we'll get to actually right now. First two batters he puts away. They go down swinging on strikes here. Both of them, I believe, cutters too. So, we talked about Max going to those off-speed pitches a lot, especially early on now, maybe conserve some energy. Unfortunately, though, Carroll up there, the third batter of the game, cranks one off of a changeup. That was kind of like middle in, but he was able to pull it, opposite field, 383 feet. Crank that home run, makes it 1-0 early on here. And you're kind of thinking, Scherzer giving a long ball. I mean, it's happened so many times this season. I forget how many first inning home runs they've given up, but it's a ton. And then obviously, top of the second, not much went on for the Mets. We're gonna fast forward here to the top of the fourth, actually, which is where things started heating up for the Mets offensively and going a little bit, awry there for Zach Davies, who was pitching for Arizona. What was it? Tommy Pham, that's right, lit it off the inning with a ground out to short, but then Lindor walks. Alonso goes down swinging on strikes, but Lindor steals second. So you have runner on with 2 outs. McNeil reaches on an infield single, which brings Lindor over to third base. So you have runners at the corners again with 2 outs. Marte up at the plate, someone who I think has been a little bit lackluster for sure this season, but cranks a home run. A changeup that was kind of, low and inside, but pulls it to left center field, 418 feet, which obviously scores Lindor and McNeil. The Mets that were once down 1-0 now up 3-1. And then, unfortunately, though, the next inning is where things kind of go awry for Max Scherzer. He was basically cruising, I guess, until the fourth inning here. Strikes out McCarthy to lead off the inning. Carroll grounds at the first. So another 2 out, scoring opportunity here in the same inning, by the way. Christian Walker homers, a solo shot though, but makes it 2-3. So you're like, all right, Max, kind of settle down. Gurriel Jr. on the mound hits another home run, gives a back-to-back home runs here, which ties the game up, unfortunately. Both of those, actually, one was off of a 4-seam fastball, the other one off of a slider. That was just the slider was hanging, and the 4-seam fastball was too much in the middle of the zone here. But next inning here, Mets answer again. Brennan Nimmo's solo shot makes it 4-3. Moving on to the bottom of the fifth now. Again, this is where kind of, when it rains, it pours, Brian. This inning, kind of tough. Another tough inning for Scherzer. Kelly pops out the second for the first out as the leadoff batter. Ahmed strikes out swinging. So again, 2 outs here. Thomas reaches infield single. Then he steals second. Perdomo gets walked. McCarthy reaches another infield single. So you have bases loaded right now with 2 outs. And a blink of an eye ago, there was 2 outs with no one on. So it's pretty crazy in terms of those 2 infield singles. And then of course, Scherzer struggling with some control. And you're going to see more struggle here as he walks Carroll, brings a runner in to tie the game. After that, Christian Walker strikes out swinging again in the inning. So they strand the bases loaded. But that walk does bring in the tying run there. So it's 4-4 as we head now into the top of the seventh with Miguel Castro, familiar face.
I know you got a little chuckle out of what happened next.
Yeah. As Alvarez with a nice 2-run shot with Vogelback on base. I believe it was the longest home run for a rookie catcher, 467 feet. Absolutely crushed it, dude.
A rookie catcher ever.
Yeah.
And like in any team, not just the Mets.
When I read that, that's what I read.
Wow.
So, yes.
I mean, we know his ability. He's been going through it a little bit. But,
yeah.
I mean, I have to say I do give the Mets credit. Seems like he's playing more times than not. It's not like they've been, he's struggling. Like, we're going to, take him out for a while. It seems like he's playing most days.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't given up on him. And,
yeah.
I mean, thankfully, the Mets don't really have another good catcher that they can like feasibly be like, oh, we rather have him there. So he's kind of forced to play.
And
too.
the fact too, I mean, that he's got 14 home runs. I mean, not many catchers have 14 home runs at the All-Star break. So I think he's doing just fine. It's not like he's hitting 160. So
no, yeah, I totally agree, dude. So that makes it 6-4 there. And then actually the scoring gets pretty crazy as the game goes on too. You had Stewart hit a sac fly, RBI. Excuse me. Oh no, I lost my spot here. Goddamn ESPN. Where was I? Bottom of the 8th here. Yeah, Stewart hit a sac fly RBI, which made it 7-4 for the Mets. And then top of the 9th too, just tagging the runs on at this point. Beatty with a leadoff single, Nimmo lines out, Pham grounds out, but then Lindor with a big double to right field scores Brett Beatty. So you love to see that, making it 8-4. And then even in the bottom of the 9th too, coming in, you have Drew Smith to try and close out this game. Actually has some issue here. As Ahmed singles to right, so he gives up a single. Lewis flies out. Perdomo lines out, but then walks Fletcher. So then they pull Smith, bring in Robertson, as 2 men are on at this point. Gives up a single to load the bases, and then walks Christian Walker. Second time, by the way, Walker was walked to bring in a run. Makes it 8-5. A little bit of trouble here, but then Gurriel grounds out to end the game, thankfully. But obviously the Mets win here, third in a row, as I mentioned. Definitely made you sweat there. Drew Smith in the 9th and then having to pull him. I mean, we've seen
Robertson in the pinch.
Robertson in the pinch. You love that, but we've seen this bullpen even recently just absolutely blow games. But hey, Scherzer ends up his line, 6 innings, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 9 Ks, giving up 3 home runs. Pitched 101 pitches there, 64 for strikes. So could do a little bit better, I think, in terms of his location and obviously giving up the long ball. But
16 home runs in 82 innings.
Yeah, I mean, that's been an issue for him specifically, but as well as every pitcher that the Mets have been putting out there. Issues with giving up home runs. Certainly, is something they're trying to, I guess, limit, but obviously hasn't done well. And I just wanted to see how many home runs Lindor has now at this point. 50 has 56 RBI.
20 doubles.
20 doubles, yeah.
So
it's really good.
The average is just
224 right now.
And I guess if it gets up to 250, like, all right, whatever, he hits 30, 100, but it's like still feel like he should be a 270 hitter.
I would like 270, like 275.
Yeah.
I mean, if Tommy Pham can bat like 277, I think he's batting right now. I mean,
287.
287.
And he went over 5 last night.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's been so hot.
Right.
So I mean, if Lindor could bat like that, that'd be great.
How many games in a row do you need to see them win before you pull the plug on the sell-off pre-trade or, I guess pre-trade deadline?
How many more games in a row? So they've won 3.
Yeah. Does it need to get to like 10 to change your mind?
I think 12.
12
would put them 2 games over 500.
Okay.
So let's try to do that.
Yeah.
12.
Otherwise, you still same plan.
Yeah.
And you know who else you could trade? I was looking up his numbers, and I think at the beginning of the year you didn't like him because he blew it a little bit. But Brooks Raley actually is another guy you could trade.
Yeah, I would like to trade him.
His numbers are good. His ERA is in the 2. So I'm saying you could get something for him.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think that would be good. And honestly, I mean, I really don't like him that much. I understand his ERA is low, but I mean, like the one inning he was in last night too, he walked 2 batters. Like, it's just I can't trust him.
And I just think too, it's like the Yankees back in 2016. I think they were around 500, heading into the trade deadline. And it's like the Mets are the same way, especially now with Cohen. They want to win every year. There's not going to be other opportunities to like load up on prospects at the trade deadline. This would be the only time you do it.
Yeah.
So I just feel like, barring that big winning streak, I think that plan should remain in place.
No, yeah, I totally agree.
With Scherzer, is it just a location thing? Is that why he's been, 3 home runs in this one and 4 earned runs overall? I mean, is that all it is? Like, it's not velocity or, I don't know, just wearing down?
I mean, I think wearing down has maybe a role to play, because he is missing his spots, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, his fastball 95. I mean, still consistently.
Yeah, that should be enough.
It is. It should be enough, but it's just like that slider he gave up. I think Gurriel's shot was a slider, and it was just it was hanging,
Right.
And his slider is something he struggled with this season. We know, in terms of locating that. So it's like, before these last few starts, he didn't give up as many home runs, and his slider was really working. Last night it wasn't. So I think when his slider doesn't work, it really kind of messes him up in terms of the rest of his pitches. Because he's trying to find it. And his slider is, when it's working, I mean, that's his strikeout pitch, So of course, and I think the other shot was again, it just messes him up in terms of now he's maybe resorting back to his changeup some more. And his changeup, sometimes is a little hittable when you don't have a third pitch to kind of mix in there. So, as long as if he was able to fix his slider, I mean, again, like he's been pretty lights out,
Yeah. So, be interesting to see if he hangs around or if they entertain moving him. But obviously, they're going to be happy with 3 straight wins. And what did you say? Was it 5 straight wins for Scherzer?
Sixth win. Yeah,
it's a lot of wins.
I know.
And I believe we have the company in the building.
That's right. We have Lonnie. He says, "Let's go, baby! Company in the building. Yanks pick up a big win, 2 out of 4 so far, guys. And the Mets have won 3 in a row for the first time in a month. Can they continue to stay hot? Hashtag rep the company.
Let's go.
Yeah, baby.
Always appreciate hearing from Lonnie and the company. He hits it right on the head. And hopefully for your sake, Tony, this winning streak continues. And, he mentioned the Yankees. So I think, that's a good segue. And you did get your full recap in after the snafu at the Horseshoe.
Yeah. You weren't even in the room, dude.
You know what, though? I question how much you really wanted to do that recap because I gave you the opportunity, Tony, and you were like, no.
The video for hockey already played, dude. It was too late.
you can still sneak it in there, bud. So we're going to actually hadn't done that in so long. It'd been weeks. 1 second, everybody. Okay. So we're going to go back to Monday, which was the first game of this set with the Orioles. They won 6-3, the Yankees. And this was a pitching matchup of Tyler Wells and Domingo Germán. And like all of the pitchers, actually, in Yankee history that had pitch perfect games, a little bit of a struggle the next time out. Germán's final line in this one, 4 1/3. 9 hits, 3 runs, 2 of those earned, no walks, 5 strikeouts for a no decision. He did have a perfect first inning to bring that perfect inning streak to 10, but he gets into some trouble in the second and the third inning. A single to right from Mullins scored Ryan O'Hearn. In the third inning, you had an Adley Rutschman double. Adley Rutschman seemingly, I think he actually made his Yankee debut when I was in the building against the Yankees last season. But it seems like he always hits against us. He had a double to the left, scoring Gunnar Henderson, another hot shot, younger player that the Orioles have. And then Ryan O'Hearn singles to score Rutschman. So that made it 3-0 Birds after the third inning. So when you start out the game like that, you're not feeling good, especially after that disappointing weekend, where you lost 2 out of 3 in St. Louis. But fortunately, the 5th inning, the Yankees get the John Sterling special, also known as the back-to-back belly to belly. The first one being Anthony Volpe. Seems like every day on this show, we're talking about the chicken parm dinner with Austin Wells, and he's just been absolutely on fire. He hits his 11th home run of the season. And then next batter, Kyle Higashioka, a guy that you don't usually get too much offense from, also hits his 4th home run of the season. So that cut the deficit to 3-2. And then, fast forwarding a little bit here, and they took Germán out. Nick Ramirez gives you another inning and 2/3 scoreless. He's been so good as a guy that you really got off the scrap heap. His ERA sits at 1.69. And you go to Ian Hamilton to get the 3 outs there in the top of the 7th. He does allow 2 hits, but doesn't allow any damage there. So his ERA now at 1.44. In the bottom of the 7th, the Yankees get a run to even this game at 3 on a Yennier Cano, who had been flawless before this outing. A wild pitch, scoring Anthony Volpe. So you love to see that. And then in the 8th inning, they get a scoreless inning yet again from Tommy Kahnle.
Very good there.
He's been so important, and that's another guy that I feel like we're talking about every day. Whatever inning he comes in, whether it's the 5th, whether it's the 7th, whether it's the 9th, whether it's the 8th, whether it's the 6th inning, Tommy Kahnle gets the job done. He has not allowed a run since coming back from the injured list. And he actually ended up getting the win in this one. So he pitches a scoreless top half of this 8th inning.
Coming in hot.
And then Harrison Bader, the big blow, a 3-run homer. He knew it right off the bat. That scored Oswaldo Cabrera and Anthony Rizzo. And, this was off Colombe, I guess is how you pronounce it. And that was just such a big home run from Bader. And I believe they showed the numbers. I think the Yankees, when he's in the lineup, are like 12, 13 games over 500. So I know he had struggled a little bit from his second trip back from the injured list, but it seems like he's really locked in now. Just an absolute huge hit. And that ends up being the final score as Clay Holmes pitches a 1-2-3 top of the 9th inning for his 10th save of the year. And talk about a guy who's been lights out. His ERA now sits at 2.36, and Lonnie hitting on the head saying Master Bader. So we've heard all of those chants, and Harrison Bader, in his time, which is about a year now with the Yankees. I know he missed a little time after getting acquired because he was coming back from that plantar fascia injury last season, but has really been an instant fan favorite. The energy, the mouth guard, the pointing at the sky, the flashy plays.
But I'm coming for blood, Michael.
The speed, the fearlessness. That's the type of guy you want on your team. So a great way to start out this series with the Orioles with a 6-3 victory. And then we were on to yesterday's afternoon game, which was postponed time-wise by about 30 minutes or so due to some thunderstorms and showers. And I'm guessing, that was coming in from Coney Island, Stoney. And in this game, we had a pitching matchup of Clark Schmidt and Kyle Gibson. And the Yankees, like we've seen, more times than not, seems like they like scoring runs in the first inning. And Gleyber Torres hits a 2-run homer in the bottom of the first.
The Oriole killer.
The Oriole killer. And I think they said, what was it? It was like he has 8. He didn't hit 2 yesterday, but he had 8 multi-home run games against the Orioles and then like 4 against the rest of the teams his whole career. I mean, he just loves hitting against the Orioles.
Crazy, dude.
So that set the tone. He seems like he's kind of locked in again. He had a great game yesterday. Schmidt was able to retire the Orioles a scoreless 4 innings to start this game. And in the bottom of the 4th inning, IKF with a nice sac fly to score Jake Bauers. IKF has been really the past month kind of like coinciding with what Volpe's done. IKF, and of course we know by now, he plays all over the field, outfield, infield, wherever you need him. He's pitched. His numbers have been unbelievable, but that sac fly makes it 3-0 Yankees. And then in the 5th inning, Clark Schmidt runs into a little bit of trouble, and you hate to see this just because of all the pain, the torture, the frustration that Aaron Hicks put us through as Yankee fans over the last few years. He hits a homer to right center, and Michael Kay actually called him on the broadcast because I guess Hicks did one of his like patent just stare at it type of deals, bat flip, and it was like it literally landed in the first row. So he's like, oh, that's why he started to run after. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Did you?
Yeah.
You thought Michael Kay was funny?
Yeah. At that current moment, Tony, yes. And then, Adam Frazier, 2-run homer, scoring rookie shortstop Jordan Westbrook. So that tied the game at 3. But fortunately for the Yankees, a huge play here in the 5th inning, and a heads-up play by Gleyber Torres. And I know a lot has been made about him making outs on the bases, making errors in the field, seemingly like zoning out. And I thought it was really creative. So, there were 2 outs, full count on Stanton. So he's running on the pitch from first base. And, he's getting to third base. You got former Met coach Luis Rojas giving him the stop sign at third base. And he kind of like acts like he's stopping. And as Cedric Mullins is fielding the ball, he just takes off. The throw comes into second, and it's not even a good throw to second. So no throw is made to home, and the Yankees take a 4-3 lead. So that was a heads-up play by Gleyber Torres. And after the game, Boone was saying, yeah, I mean, if it went the other way, he had been called out about how, he doesn't make smart decisions. I like the aggression. You wanted to take advantage of that opportunity. And he knew too that Cedric Mullins is not knowing for his throwing arm. So that made it 4-3. And Clark Schmidt was taken out of this game after 5 innings. So the Yankees going to that strong bullpen. Ron Marinaccio works around 2 walks, gets a double play and a strikeout to get out of the 6th inning. And then Wandy Peralta also pitches a scoreless 7th inning, working around a hit. So the bullpen getting the job done once again. And then Jose Trevino, who had not homered, Tony, since May 1st, hits a home run. I believe that was his 4th of the season. So that gave the Yankees an insurance run and make it 5-3. And then with 2 outs, who else but Harrison Bader breaking this one open, a double down the line to right, scoring Torres, scoring Stanton. So that made it 7-3. And then in the 8th inning, the Orioles make an error on a grounder that should have been a double play to end the inning. But instead, they get 1 out at second base. IKF scores. So that made it 8-3.
Wow.
So instead of having to have Albert Abreu instead of having to have Clay Holmes pitch the top of the 9th, they go to Albert Abreu. He does allow a run after making a fielding error that wasn't called an error. He clearly missed first base on a throw over on a ground ball.
Right.
And they just gave Jordan Westbrook a hit. And again, Michael K, and Lonnie's cracking up about that, was like, I don't see how that's a hit. That's pretty ridiculous.
Do you think he was funny then?
I did think he was funny then, Lonnie. Yeah, come on. I mean, Lonnie, we all know it's like, yeah, I can tolerate Michael K, but it's like, come on. What are we really talking about here? I think he's easily replaceable. But so they make it out of that unscathed, and the final score here 8-4. So a huge game to pull within 2 games of the Orioles for second place in the American League East, as well as that top wild card spot. So you wanted this as bad as you could. Now you've guaranteed at least a split, and you give yourself a very good opportunity, with a game each of the next 2 days to take 3 out of 4 here, and really get something going. And he's saying, watch your mouth about the Caser. So I guess, does that mean Lonnie's a Michael K fan?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. He's a friend of the whole company, dude.
But he was cracking up though when I said, the Scud of K though.
No, I think because he said, "Was that a Scud?"
I was mistaken there, Lonnie. I thought that was like the crying emoji, but then he's going crying emoji. So it's hard to really get a read here. And also, I'm new at this, so I apologize for my ignorance. So originally, I was thinking the company was just fans of Rick and Dave, but it's the whole station.
I mean, as far as I know, it's always Rick and Dave, but obviously they, it trickles down.
But Rick and Dave are obviously number
bar
one.
Bar none, dude. Yeah. Second to none.
And none of us are going to dispute that. That's for sure. But a lot to like from these last 2 games. And I know Volpe was 0-4 in this one, but he's really played very well. So you're excited about what he has to offer. And I think it might have been Aaron Boone, or there was just some report that he's going to get consideration for the leadoff spot. In this game, they had Rizzo bat leadoff. I don't know if that was an effort to get him going. Worked for Gleyber Torres batting second here, 2-for-4 with that home run. Nearly missed another home run. Michael K. They actually were, Lonnie, I know you're going to crack up about this, making fun of him because there was 2 fly balls. One of them was Gleyber Torres. I'm not sure the other one, but he did his deep to right, and it's wasn't even close. So On Twitter, I forgot who was, all the Yankee heads on Twitter were saying like, he's losing a little bit on his fastball. He says he still loves K, DNR over everything. And I agree with that. And one thing I'll give you, Lonnie, is Michael K, as well as John Sterling, who I prefer much so over Michael K. But they were a part of the glory days, the core four, the 4 and 5 years. So there's always going to be a part of me that's okay, keeping that status quo because they were there for the good times. But I like John Sterling because I just feel like he's not egotistical like Michael K. And I just feel like he always brings the energy. He's so excited. So I've always been a big Sterling guy. I'm kind of curious what Lonnie thinks of Sterling. I don't really get to ask too many, fellow Yankee fans about this. And it seems like most people like him. A lot of people harp on the, it's gone. Oh, wait, it's out at the track or whatever. But I've said many times, I'll give him a break. I mean, he's been announcing over 40 years.
Yeah.
And he says he loves John. So that's how Lonnie is a true one, Tony.
I haven't really met many people who don't
Mark
like him.
is
like him.
one guy that comes to mind. I guess, yeah, it's probably, I would think it's more positive. What's your thoughts on him? I know obviously you don't really listen to the broadcast too much, but
I mean, I don't know. I love Sterling. I mean, he's someone who's obviously a workhorse. I forget how many thousands of consecutive games he's called.
It was, I mean, now since last year, they started giving him days off, but I was literally Derek Jeter's entire career.
Yeah.
By the way.
Which
so
is
you think about
ridiculous.
that, which is 20 years.
And I don't know. I think I think he's getting a little old. He probably should retire soon.
And that's why they're, rotating people in.
Of course, dude.
Yeah.
You got to do that. But I mean, the man's getting old. Start to lose it a little bit, especially calling games is not an easy thing. People think, oh, it's easy, but you're an intense focus on the entire game the whole time. You got to be talking, he does a phenomenal job still with it. And so I really couldn't imagine anyone having a negative feeling towards him.
And especially at his age, I think anybody else who would have taken one off the chin, Lonnie having a little fun with it, get this guy at the mic. I'm telling you, my good buddy that's been a Yankee fan, like me, 30 plus years, does not like him. He said he's
crazy.
I mean,
he's too old.
No, just because of the errors. He doesn't like that. But it's come on. I think we can give him the break.
And you know what? A lot of his errors came, I think, his most recent ones were from COVID too.
Right.
When he was not at the ballpark.
Monitor. But I think totally when he's at the ballpark. But it's I mean, we get it. I mean, he's older. You're going to have problems seeing. And I was just going to say the fact that he took that ball off the face. I think any other broadcaster would have taken the rest of the game off.
Dude, half of the Yankees be on the IL.
Dude. Yeah. John makes mistakes. We all do, but he still does a great job. Absolutely. And I just, and Tony,
who's your buddy who doesn't like him? Get him on the phone. Get him on the phone right now.
I just I was talking about this the other day, Lonnie. I was upset that he wasn't on the call for Herman's perfect game. I would have loved to hear that. But yeah, I love the home run calls. I love ball game over Yankees win. The Jay Sterling call account on Twitter is the best. So I try to retweet and like those as much as possible. But it, Sterling, an absolute legend, Tony. So, you feel pretty good right now. You got to 10 games over 500, which is actually exactly where the Yankees were pre-Aaron Judge injury. They are now 13-13 without Judge. So all things considered, I guess you could say, pretty solid footing. Obviously you just want to get him back as soon as possible, but seems like to me that we're talking August. I hope it's sooner.
Well, he liked my joke.
He did like the joke. He did like the joke. So tonight we finally get Randy Vasquez back up from the minor leagues. His 2 starts this year, 1-1, 1.74, 9 strikeouts over 10 in the third, allowing 1 home run, striking out 9 and allowing 6 hits and 4 walks. So it's done a decent job. On the other side, you get Dean Creamer.
Yeah.
I love this matchup. I love what Vasquez has done this season. It's kind of odd, his ERA in AAA is over 5, but when he's pitched here, he's pitched well. You're not going to argue with that result. And I feel like Dean Creamer is a guy that we should be able to knock around a little bit. So I just feel very good about that. And it just would be such a relieving feeling for the Yankees to take this third game, guarantee the series win, and then have a chance to do, the unthinkable, going into this series to sweep the Orioles, a team, and you'd be dead even with them. They were 4 games up on you heading into this series. So that would just be so great. Obviously, Severino is pitching tomorrow. We know the struggles he had last time out against St. Louis. But Kyle Bradish, another guy you feel like you can hit. And they were talking about this on the broadcast yesterday. And it's like, yes, we know the Orioles are very good, but they really need some pitching. And it's impressive what they've done, though. I believe it's, I'm trying to think. So like the highest paid players on the team, I think Kyle Gibson is number 1. And I'm just like, I'm blanking on who the second highest paid player is, but it's like their top guy. Yeah, $10 million. Their top salary, Tony, on the team. Wow. So they've done a great job with scouting, with drafting. But I like what's ahead of us. I think Severino is a wild card tomorrow, but I do feel good about Vasquez. Let's see, what do we got here? Multi-year Kyle Gibson. Adam Frazier is the guy, $8 million. McCann, the Mets are paying a bulk of that deal. I don't know if it was half or more.
I think it was more than half.
I don't think it says
Anthony Santander.
Santander's a good player.
He is a great player. So is Cedric Mullins, honestly, too.
Yeah, it's just from
Austin
2 years
Hayes.
ago, he had that really good year, and it's like I know he's had some injuries and stuff. But all of that being said, Tony, I'm expecting 6 strong out of Randy Vasquez tonight. And I think they'll get to creamer. And as you would say, Tony, early and often, I want to say he only goes 4 innings.
Wow.
4 runs, 6 hits, 2 home runs. And Anthony Rizzo finally snaps that 30-plus game homerless streak with a bomb on his first at bat, first pitch. He lucks out. We know he's always aggressively swinging first pitch, gets that fastball right down the middle into the second deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say at the end of the day, the Yankees will take this game tonight with a final score of 6-2 to take the first 3 games of the series against the Baltimore Orioles.
I love it, dude. I like that. It's a great pick right there.
By the way, a little 0-3 action for you last Thursday. So we are now only separated by 2 games.
Really, dude?
So it's now 31-29.
Where'd you go on Thursday?
I went 1-2. Yeah.
All right, dude. Let's focus up here. Because this is serious here. I'm gonna I think stay away from the Mets, honestly.
Wow.
Senga on the mound. I'm not that confident, honestly, in him. Diamondbacks have some young guy on the mound. Tommy Henry, who's given up, I think, 6 home runs in his past 5 starts. In those past 5 starts, too, has given up 15 earned runs. So not great recently, but I will say all those games that he started, the Diamondbacks have won. He's a 5-1 record. ERA is a tick above 5. So I think the Mets could hit him, but I just think, like, other than Grant Hartwig, honestly, who's been pitching pretty well for the Mets, I don't have a lot of confidence in our bullpen guys. We used up, like Raley, Smith, obviously Robertson. You could use probably Robertson on a back-to-back, but
he only pitched at 3rd of an inning. So yeah.
But still a little worried about the bullpen possibly blowing in. And of course, Sanga's gonna give up some earned runs. So I'll stay away from the Mets tonight because I don't want to lose this 2-game lead here.
I think though it's one of those things where you're only staying away from it as kind of like a mysterious thing. Like you're like, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm expecting them to win. I don't want to say that,
right?
But I want to run the winning streak to 4.
Dude, yeah.
Tell me that little thought didn't cross your mind.
I mean, if I say that, though, it defeats the purpose of not saying.
Well, I think without saying it, that's a nonverbal cue, Tony.
All right, I'm gonna say, give me the Padres here against the Angels. I like that. Seth Lugo on the mound. Definitely pitching this season, not great, but better than Patrick Sandoval. And it is nice to see Lugo get some starting pitching nods, which is exactly what he wanted. He was in the Mets, but we all know how that ended up. And I know, I don't know if you heard this, but yesterday, I believe the Angels won yesterday. with Ohtani on the hill.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh no, they lost 8-5. Oh, they did. They did actually lose. But I know him and Soto had some words for Ohtani pregame interview, like, watch out. Like, I'm going to be up there. I know you're great, whatever. Ohtani strikes out Soto twice. I think he went like 0 for 4.
Soto, there's been some talk,
So,
the prima donna entitlement.
I know it's not good.
I don't know how, especially Shohei, like, why you like, of all people, like, what has Shohei done? Like, why are you calling him out?
I know, yeah, just the fact that he's a good player. You want to like, come on, dude. I'm trying to have a pitching contest here. So give me the Padres a little bit of a bounce back win with no Ohtani on the mound, and I say Lugo. I know his ERA is a little bit higher than you want, but pitched 6 scoreless innings most recently in Cincinnati, so I think that's pretty solid. So I would say give me, I don't know, maybe 6 innings, 2 earned runs out of him tonight. Padres win this one. I'll say 5-3.
All right. And you know what's very interesting? This is me, and I think you're not expecting this out of me because I'm digging into the numbers, Tony, for a non-Yankee game, which is very rare for me. I'm usually just kind of on the surface, fantasy related, all of that.
I love it.
But we have the Pirates facing the Dodgers.
Okay.
And Bobby Miller got off to a great start this year, the 24-year-old righty from Elk Grove Village, Illinois.
Wow.
And the last time I saw one of his games, he was dominating the Yankees in a game they ended up losing because the bullpen blew it. But 6 innings, 1 hit, and he only no runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. And since that point, he had 1 good start. The following Saturday against the Phillies, 6 innings, 3 hits, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, no earned runs. And then since then, in 3 starts, he's given up a total of 16 runs. Now, the Dodgers have won 2 out of those 3 starts. But I saw his stuff. I saw the bite, the life on that fastball up in the zone.
Wow.
And I wonder, too, that, he had 7 days in between his start, where he gave up 7 runs against the Giants and then had 7 days off, gave up 10 hits, 6 runs against Houston, and then had another 6 days off, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs against Kansas City, which is like giving up 6 runs against, I don't know. Yeah, you get the picture. Yeah. This time it's on just 5 days rest. So I feel like that's going to get him going back in the direction that he wants to, that he needs to. And I saw the ability on Sunday Night Baseball. Bobby Miller is going to be a star in this league. I would not be surprised if eventually he ends up winning a Cy Young. And I think a game here against the Pirates, who, despite the hot start to begin this year, have really tapered off, have really been inconsistent. And then, other than if they're playing like the Padres, it seems like they struggle with consistency, struggle winning games, especially on the road here at Chavez Ravine, Tony. So all of that being said, the Dodgers have been inconsistent in their own right. But I think not tonight. I think Miller will strike out 10 over 7 innings. I think the Dodgers will beat up on Osvaldo Bido to the tune of, I want to say they'll score 5 runs against him over 3 1/3 and get this ship turned around. They've lost, 3 out of 4 games, including last night, 9-7 to the Pirates. So they're going to take this series and take this game, and I'm going to say the Dodgers blow out the Pirates here 8-1.
8-1.
Yeah.
Wow.
Statement.
That is quite the analytical breakdown there, Brian. Great job.
Bobby Miller. I recognize talent.
Love it. I think I'm going to go with Washington tonight. They're at home playing Cincinnati, trying to avoid the sweep here as we're in the 3rd game of their series. You have Josiah Gray on the mound against Graham Ashcraft. And I know Ashcraft kind of sucks, dude. I know he pitched well against the Mets, but other than that, not a great pitcher. Josiah Gray is someone who I've actually looked at a couple times this season because he does pitch pretty well. He has a 3.3 ERA, 6-6 on the season. He has 86 strikeouts so far this season. And when you look at his past few starts, honestly, nothing terrible, honestly. He just pitched 6 innings, only giving up 1 earned run against the Phillies with 8 Ks. Before that, 5 1/3 against the Padres with no earned runs again. Ran into some trouble against Houston, but still pitched 7 innings, only gave up 4 earned runs there. So can pitch well, can kind of hang with the better lineups. And on top of that, Lane Thompson for Washington having a pretty solid year, batting .301, 14 home runs and 45 ribbies for the 27-year-old. Has 3 hits and 2 doubles in this series so far against Cincinnati, so we expect him to continue to hit well. I'm looking probably maybe get his 15th home run tonight. I would say the Nationals beat the Reds here to avoid the sweep. I'll say 4-2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Reds, one of the better stories in baseball, and the Nationals just seem to be trending downward since that 2019 run to a World Series title.
Tight dog here.
And speaking of World Series, you have 2 teams that once played in a World Series in 2008, and then the Phillies specifically in the World Series last year, coming up short. They're in Tampa here. And this is the second game of this series. The Phillies did win last night 3-1. And tonight's game, we have Tawan Walker versus Zach Littell. Littell, 5.28 in limited action over 15 1/3 innings pitched this season. Walker, a respectable 9-3 mark with a 3.93 ERA. We know Tony loves that.
Oh, yeah.
But I love this spot for the Rays after the loss last night. And Walker, seemingly, Tony, I mean, his last 5 starts, the Phillies have won all of them. And he's only given up 3 earned runs, 1 home run. So I know Tony in his head is thinking, where was this with the Mets? But first half Walker, because that's what it was, right?
Yeah.
First half, great.
Always
Second
first half,
half
great.
Atrocious.
Yeah.
So I think he's gearing up for another one of those. And despite Littell, you don't know what you're going to get out of him. I think the Rays offense will be all over Walker early and often. I could see Rosa Reyna and Yandy Diaz both hitting home runs en route to a 6-3 victory over the Phillies.
Love it, dude. My third and final, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Miami, baby.
What did they win? 16-1 yesterday?
Yeah, 15-2, actually.
15-2. Okay.
So this is gonna be, I think, the third game out of 4. Yeah, third out of 4 of this series. So far, the Marlins have won the first 2, taking game 1, 5-4. Game 2 last night we mentioned was 15-2. On the mound is an undecided for St. Louis, so probably, I guess, some type of bullpen game. I will tell you though, and the big reason why I'm picking Miami, obviously, we know about the struggles the Cards have kind of faced this season, but I think last night, Adam Wainwright went maybe 4 innings, I think less than 4 innings. And they used like 5 or 6 bullpen guys. So to come out here in Miami again here for game 3 and try to have a bullpen game would be kind of tough, dude. Because all of your guys got absolutely shellacked, obviously, hence the 15 scored runs yesterday. So, I mean, how do you not go with Miami again? You'll get someone like Jorge Soler, who I think went 3 for 4 yesterday with an RBI and 2 doubles or something like that. As well as, a name that we've mentioned a few times, Luis Ariz, batting .387, leading the league in batting average so far. So, unbelievable, dude. 41 RBIs for him, too. Obviously, the long ball isn't crazy, but the man gets on base a shit ton. And
what do you think? I mean, I think he's as valuable as anybody out there. We know analytics kind of maybe tell a different story due to the lack of power. What are your thoughts on that? With him, with just mostly singles, some doubles mixed in, not a fast guy.
Yeah. The not being very athletic is tough, I think. But I mean, hey, if you lead the league in anything, I mean, that gives you value, especially batting average. I mean, 387 is unheard of. And this is something that he's kept up pretty consistently. Like, this is no like he's new or, he's only been in a few games, small sample size. Like, it's been half the year.
Right.
And he's still a good second baseman. OPS of 918. That's 7th in the league. What do I care if he doesn't hit home runs
and
a lot,
let Jorge Soler hit a home run and drive him in?
Exactly. I'm trying to see. Let me see how many times you've been brought in here.
He's 39
runs.
which I mean is okay. It's not
Yeah.
great, but 120 hits. It just like
It's
a lot of people have
ridiculous.
120 hits for the season.
Yeah.
So he might be looking at 200 hits this year, which would
Kind
be
of
something.
ridiculous, dude.
And I'm looking at the sortables here too, Tony. I mean, Chisholm, or however you say it. Is it Chisholm?
Jazz Chisholm?
Yeah. He's missed some time. Second trip to the injured list, just got put back on. I believe it was an oblique strain.
Nice.
But other than Jorge Soler and his 22 home runs, you got Garrett Cooper with 11, and then no one else has double digits. The Marlins 7-3 over their last 10, leading the National League wild card. So you would imagine, even though it's not in their character, that they would be adding some bats at the deadline.
Yeah, you would think so. And I mean, I think maybe they expect Jazz to heat up coming back from injury. I feel like he's had a couple injuries this season, right?
Yeah, no, and he just got placed, so he might miss a couple weeks. So that's why
oblique is tough,
I think
dude.
it further necessitates maybe even bringing someone in like at the All-Star break or something to jumpstart,
right?
Just to be prepared and get the guy you want to get.
Yeah, and it is tough because I feel like Soler. I mean, he's your DH too. Like he's not, and he doesn't really play the field ever.
Right.
So it'd be interesting to see. And maybe, De La Cruz will heat up a little bit after the All-Star break too. I think they, expect a bit more out of him. But again, another guy. I mean, he's got 17 doubles on the season. That's great. But again, there's not a lot of home runs there.
Right.
I'm looking at Soler has 17 doubles too. 17 doubles, 22 home runs.
Seemingly after he seemed kind of finished.
Yeah,
after that big season. What was it in 2018 with the Royals?
I think maybe it was 2019. I feel like
it seemed like every time he was up, he was hitting a home run.
Yeah, he had like 40.
It was 2019, 48 home runs, and I believe was Perez?
Yeah,
but he had 50 home runs. Sal Perez,
yeah, unbelievable.
I don't know how that happens.
So give me Miami here. I think that this guy Hoeing, I don't know how you say it, 26-year-old. Pitcher for the Miami Marlins here. Not a lot of obviously experience there, so I don't know. Maybe give Miami. I'll say like 8-5, high scoring.
You think they end up making the playoffs?
Miami?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, I guess ask me when to see where they comes from the deadline. Like if they bring someone in.
Yeah, I mean,
they need to bring someone in.
Yeah, I mean, maybe too. Like they would be amendable to maybe if someone's making a decent amount of money, but it's only for this year, or maybe or just into next year that they'll pull the trigger. Because like I said, we don't usually see them open up the checkbook.
I know. I mean, it's just tough. I mean, what do you think about Sandy?
I think he's going to recover. You
so?
don't trade him now when his value is low.
And Luzardo's been pitching well for them too.
Yeah, Luzardo's been pitching well. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, but that's, a good story, a Marlins team, that we don't usually see make the playoffs. So it's kind of something different. Now, before we switch here to talking some golf, Tony, just back to the Mets for a second. I know a very small sample size. I mean, has the last 3 games done anything for you?
I mean, honestly, not really. I mean, it's good to see Alvarez, crank a home run, but I mean, we're making some defensive mistakes. I feel, McNeil, I think bobbled the ball in the infield. One of the infield reaches that, ended up letting up a run. I think it was the infield single right before Scherzer walked Christian Walker.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, if we come up with plays like that and the inning limit to no runs at all, it's like defensive mistakes I'm seeing. Obviously, Scherzer giving up a couple of home runs is not great. Even this weekend, it's great to see us, get back-to-back wins against San Francisco and stuff. But again, I still see the Mets making fundamental mistakes. There's holes, right? Obviously, throughout the team. Yeah, it's great to see Scherzer again get the win, but I mean his ERA is way higher than you would think. Sanger's on the mound tonight. I don't have a lot of confidence in him. Like the guy walks a lot. His strikeout rate has been okay, I guess. But I don't know, dude. Just still not a ton of confidence. Like I said, they win like 10, 12 games in a row. They somehow pull themselves out of being under 500. You're talking a little bit of a different Tony.
Yeah. So,
but until then, Brian,
Until then, Tony, hopefully for your sake, there is a then, but we'll have to see. All right. So being that it's Wednesday, Lonnie, one more comment
He
here.
says, luckily no one was on with those bombs that Max gave up.
Very
He's
true.
right, dude.
Very true.
Yeah.
So be interesting to see how he'll do moving forward. So the PGA Tour is in Silvis, Illinois this week, Tony. The John Deere Classic, something that has been going on since 1971. And this, of course, at TPC Deere Run, a par 71 and 72.57 on the yardage. And it's funny, in these weeks leading up to the Open Championship, once again, a course that's scoreable, a course that's gettable. Just to give you an idea, going back to 2012, 20 under, 19 under, 22 under, 20 under, 22 under, 18 under, 27 under, which I believe was the record by Michael Kim, 2018. Dylan Fratelli with a minus 21, 2019, minus 19 by Lucas Glover in 2021. Last year, JT Poston, the Postman, 21 under par. And just like how we had, last week in the Rocket Mortgage Classic, even more of a dial back field this week, with a lot of guys, wanting to play the Scottish next week before the Open Championship at Royal St. Liverpool. Nevertheless, we do have, some notable names, and I mentioned that Poston won this tournament last year, and he's been very inconsistent since then. But he is back in the field this week. And, PGAtour.com lists Denny McCarthy, who's had a good run, on the PGA Tour this season. Hasn't won, but we saw him compete at the Travelers as well as a slew of other tournaments. And, if you look at his last three starts, 2nd, 20th, and 7th, 9 top 20s in his last 15 starts. So that's pretty good consistency. You have Russell Henley, you have Adam Hadwin, you have Emiliano Grillo, Chris Kirk, who's been a good story this year. We all remember that playoff win over Eric Cole at the Honda Classic. Adam Schenk, Taylor Moore, who's been at the top of some leaderboards this season. Eric Cole, Steven Yeager, Nick Taylor. We all know about that putt at the Canadian Open. Lucas Glover, Alex Smalley, another guy who's playing some good golf here. Ludwig Adberg, Keith Mitchell, Peter Quest, Seamus Power, Cameron Young, Troy Merritt, Patrick Rogers, Henrik Norlander, Tony. So, as we like to say, not the who's who, but some guys that we're familiar with. Nevertheless, and I know we've given you some time to think about this one. So I'm just kind of curious. Is this a curveball? Is this? Am I not even gonna know?
No, you're gonna know.
Is it too predictable? Because that's the tone you're giving me right now.
I don't think so. I'm gonna go with Michael Kim, I think.
Wow. The course record.
The course record minus 27 way back in, what was it, 2017, 2018?
Yeah.
I just think obviously the man can play this course well. I think the man has missed the cut, I believe, 10 times so far this year. I think at Wells Fargo he came in, or the Travelers, he was in like 35th or something. So obviously, nothing really points a lot to this man winning other than, he's like been here before and he knows what to do. I also think, his birthday's in 7 days. So I think he thinks it'll be a nice little, birthday present to himself for the purse of, what is it, like 1 point something million for first place.
Let's see here. So I know. Okay, winner's share 1.332 million, yes. Total purse of 7.4.
So a nice early birthday gift for Michael Kim as he wins this, not breaking any records, but I'll give him maybe a 24 under.
You don't think he can touch that 27?
I think he maybe could, but I don't think the time. I mean, he's missed the cut a lot this season. He doesn't play golf very well this year so far. So
Missed the cut at the U.S.
Yeah.
Open, and that was his first major since 2019. So it's been a little bit of a struggle for him. As a professional, has only made one cut at the Open Championship back in 2018. And the John Deere Classic remains the only victory of his career. And I'm going to kind of copy you in a sense where I'm going with someone that the numbers don't show any reason to think that he's going to win this week, but that's why he might end up winning. And I'm going to go with Cam Young.
Love it.
We loved the story last year, finishing second at the Open Championship at St. Andrews. And this season, for whatever reason, Tony, I mean, he has just not got the job done. He hasn't finished inside the top 30 since the Masters back on April 9th. Since then, 51st, 59th, cut, 57th, 32nd, and a tied 60th at the Travelers. So, we saw the promise after the Open last year, and he's a relatively young guy, 26 years old. And I just feel like a gettable course like this, almost similar to JT when he was struggling going to the Travelers. We know he had the strong performance. I know it didn't translate the next week because he missed the cut at the Rocket Mortgage. But I just feel like this sets up well for him. So I'm going to say Cam Young winning the John Deere Classic. And I know you're going to see it coming, Tony. And maybe you're prepared. Just give me somebody crazy that you could see.
Somebody crazy?
Yeah.
As if Kim wasn't crazy enough, dude.
Yeah. Somebody that not on these rankings lists, like barely in the field, coming off 20 missed cuts in a row.
Oh my God, 20 missed cuts in a row, huh? Ooh. All right. Michael coming in hot. God, dude. I guess if you want to look at some results here. Actually, he hasn't done terribly. Give me the Canadian boy, Nick Taylor, dude.
Wow.
Winnipeg.
Okay.
35 years old.
Canadian Open,
dude.
I feel like for a second you forgot about that. No?
No.
Yeah, you did.
RBC Canadian
I see
Open,
it on your
first
face.
Place. Yeah. Man, 20 under 1.6 million. I mean, I still think come on, Canadian Open, like it's Canada, dude. Stop it. There's no way a Canadian is winning a PGA Tour event on the weekend after July 4th.
Can we get the numbers on that?
Dude, I would honestly
you'd love to see it.
I'd love to see that, dude.
So I'm gonna go with a guy who well, you didn't let me finish there, Tony. That has not won since the 2015 Open Championship, a grizzled vet on the PGA Tour. And it seems like, when he gets into these tour events, he, on like the smaller fields, it seems like he competes pretty well. I don't think you're gonna get it, but I'm just curious if you have any idea.
No idea.
Former Masters champion as well. I think I've mentioned him before. You're not gonna get it. I wanted to give you a chance. I would have been probably the most surprised / impressed, Tony, that I've been out of you with a golf pick. If you were to get this one,
I don't.
You just can't give me something.
Harold Gardner.
Tony,
what do you want, dude? Come
he's on the Live Tour.
Tony. I know, dude. Who is it, Brian?
A lot of people, actually. But anyway, Tony, I guess I will spoil the surprise. I am gonna go with Zach Johnson. I know you've heard of him. Don't tell me that you haven't heard of him.
I may have remember you mentioning his name before, yeah.
Like he's Thaddeus Young.
Yes.
From way back when.
Dude.
But yeah, so I mean, this is going to be a good warm up, with the Open around the corner. Obviously, we wish we were watching, all of the big names in golf, but like I always say, I think it gives us a really good opportunity here to catch some of the lesser known guys, let them make a name for themselves before we get into the Open Championship. But first, obviously, we'll have the Scottish, which is interesting that started out as a DP World Tour event, and now it's an official PGA Tour event. So
that's cool.
And I think the reason being, there was always a lot of players playing that, in preparation for the Open. So why not just make it, an official event?
Yeah, I love it, dude.
I wanted to see, I don't know if they just haven't released this yet, but I was just curious what the purse was at the Open Championship, but it doesn't look like they're listing that, which is kind of interesting. Open Championship purse 2023.
17.5 million. The Masters shelled out. Oh, PGA Championship purse. Oh, no, never mind.
No.
20 million.
Oh, okay. No, but
oh wait, no. Oh, the U.S. Open made its way. Oh, what the fuck?
I think the RNA sometimes they don't like
they blow it.
No. They just don't want to release the information until closer to the tournament. I don't know why. And I don't know if it has to do maybe with qualifying. How many people are actually going to play?
Right.
So that'll be interesting. So a couple of other things here, Tony, just to kind of wrap up today. And I just saw this on ESPN.com, and just going back to baseball for a second, Dustin May, another surgery, elbow surgery, and this is to repair a flexor tendon in his right elbow.
That's so tough.
And he only made 9 starts this year, 20 starts over the past 3 years. You just hate to see these young pitchers. A guy I really was convinced before last season, Dustin May might have won the Cy Young Award. I mean, his stuff is so good. You know about the Ginger Guard nickname. So, he's still
he throws 102.
Yeah, I mean, and he's still relatively young. So I mean, there's obviously time, there's obviously hope. 25 years old, but it's just tough. You get a surgery this time of year, then you're talking about not only all of this year, but more than likely, a good chunk of the following season.
Right.
So be interesting to see too. I mean, the Dodgers have kind of had a mixed bag. Michael Grove starting some games. You would think they would be in a market for a pitcher. You think any chance Mad Max would go back to LA, or he was kind of tight there?
I think he would go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he wants to win. So
yeah. Why not just stay with the Mets, huh?
Yeah, you could do that.
So we had seen all of the excitement about the Angels,
Tony, come
on, Ohtani, and you mentioned the loss last night. Mike Trout on the injured list, broken left wrist.
Oh no, dude!
As well as
Anthony Rendon.
Anthony Rendon, not on the injured list, but a left shin contusion.
I think Ohtani left the game last night
with a blister after giving up consecutive home runs to Bogarts and Cronenworth, allowing 5 runs, 7 hits. So it's you hope it's not the case, but boy, does this feel familiar to the last couple of years where this is the floodgates have opened, and then it's just a downward spiral from this point. That's what it feels like. I mean, hopefully they can weather the storm, but I think Ohtani will be fine, but without Trout, I just think it's going to be a tough task.
Dude, that really sucks for the Angels to have their 3 best guys basically go down.
Yeah. So, we'll have to see, what happens. And then the only thing, and it's a shame, Michael's in the hallway right now, but
do you want to get him in here?
If we can, Michael,
can
we get you for 1 second, bud?
Oh, he looks sad.
Really?
Yeah.
No. You got to give us something on Bobo, just real quick. Come on. I don't know if that was on.
They're both on.
We need him in New York. Do you hear what's going on?
No.
Yeah, I don't know either. So
why they released it?
Yeah.
So Tuesday was the deadline to guarantee $2.2 million, but $2.2 million, you don't want to give it to this guy? career year, 9 points, 5.8 rebounds, only 21.5 minutes.
Dude, we're going to a game, first game of the season if he goes to the Knicks. We're
That's
getting
kinda
with the
crazy.
cards to get them all signed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you think the Knicks would?
I
Pick him
mean,
up?
and I have to say, there's been like Fournier and stuff, but Leon Rose has made smart decisions. So it does seem like this would be something that
cooked them in the regular season.
yeah.
That'd be sick, dude.
Early.
Yeah. You'd have to wear your UB stuff. Yeah, dude.
And he might not go through waivers, but I guess Detroit Pistons have first dibs in the waiver process.
Wow.
And they tried to trade for him last year. And remember that trade was rescinded because of the injury. But it's just one of those things. Like we know it. We know he's worth more than this. It makes you feel like we should be doing some of these guys' jobs.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, because Tony, I feel like you have more of a perspective. Michael kind of I did know Bobo at Oregon and stuff, and he was supposed to be, a top 5 pick, then slipped to the second round because he injured his foot and all that. But you have more of a non-biased opinion on this. But what is your take? Do you think? I mean, you've seen the highlights. You've seen him in games. What do you think the issue is here?
I mean, the only thing I could think of is that foot injury is still an issue, and that's why teams are staying away from him.
He appeared in 70 games last year.
I know, it's kind of crazy,
so,
right?
Clearly, it wasn't that much of an issue.
Yeah, then I don't know. I mean, I don't know why you would not.
The only thing, and I don't want to put this on him without actually knowing anything about it, but is it possible that it's like he's a diva? I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. Like,
I feel like you could be able to point that out, though.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, but I guess you never know what's happening, beyond closed doors.
You would like to think that people like us are wrong, and the people that have their jobs are like, oh, like it's right that they're not keeping them around.
But you would like to think it, but that is that really realistic?
Sometimes it's not, dude.
And the Magic did switch their GM, Anthony Parker, who used to play in the NBA. So kind of interesting, maybe in out with the old and with the new scenario as well.
Yeah, I guess so.
What would you say the probability of the NBA actually giving us something good this upcoming season? Like a rebound, some type of of how we perceive it, how entertaining it is. We've seen some player movement. Bayamba? Are you excited to see Bayamba?
No, yeah, that is cool. Is that the correct pronunciation? Bayamba?
I think so.
Okay, I would say maybe a 19 to 21% chance
that you're intrigued.
This is like a bounce back season.
I mean, but the Knicks maybe.
I think those odds are pretty good. Almost a quarter. A
quarter. I mean, I know Michael was kind of ho-hum on it, but I kind of like the idea of having the 3 guys from Nova together on the team. I know it was college, but I don't think you could underestimate the value of having guys together.
Camaraderie.
That won before.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
If you had to give me a name for a title next year, who is it?
Like a team to win?
Yeah.
Miami.
Really?
Yeah.
You think Lillard ends up going there?
Yeah.
I would really like to see it.
I would like to see that too.
He's been in a situation in Portland where they've had a lot of talent, but it just hasn't been managed properly.
I also want to hear Michael talk about how Jimmy Butler is Michael Jordan's son.
Oh my god!
For like another week.
Do you think he'll actually get back into that? Come basketball?
Yeah. If Miami's making a run, definitely.
I thought he was coming.
Yeah. That was him too.
Jimmy
Jordan, dude.
Oh man, that is funny stuff.
All right, Brian, we gotta go.
Wow.
Yeah, we gotta shoot. Metcha.
Tony, but you didn't think I was about to wrap it up?
No, I don't know, man. It looks like you're like here to stay, honestly.
Tony, I mean, we're right around
how many hot dogs you eat in 10 minutes?
How many hot dogs would I eat in 10 minutes?
62.5 is your over under.
I'm one of those guys, give me a dog or two. Pace wise, great, but volume can't do it. And I feel like you're to a certain extent. Like you'll have 5 dogs, you're not having 15. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I think yesterday I said 12. I would do 12.
If you had last question,
minutes.
And then we're closing it.
What do you got?
To your recollection, most hot dogs you've had in a day?
I think 8.
Wow. I want to say I had like 4 or 5, but I never 8. Like that's a big number.
Yeah, but yeah,
pales in comparison. But
It does pale in comparison.
Ridiculous. But yeah, so anything you wanted to mention other than giving Craig O a shot at 8:30?
Craig O at 9:30.
9:30. Wow,
I
under the
know.
lights.
We're going super late, dude.
Is there any correlation there, or just kind of a scheduling?
Scheduling with the interviewee.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Which is totally fine. But then we have Screen Time yesterday is out there. Reviewed the new Indiana Jones movie. You should check that out, dude. Manny, Mike, and I had a great time in the studio, so check it out, baby.
Which match are you going to?
Norwalk.
Norwalk. Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of doing the Mecha tour recently. I feel like New Haven, Danbury, Norwalk.
Yeah, I hit
Stanford
them all,
a little while ago.
So many of them now, so it's crazy, dude.
Yeah. So definitely enjoy that, and let's just say we really enjoyed, engaging with all of you today.
Yeah.
The company in the building.
Love it,
that was
dude.
great. Love that element, the addition to the show.
Love the company.
We're going to be mentioning the company a lot.
Live for the company.
Forward. Live for the company. Live for all of you. And we appreciate you all continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee, and Costume, the merch at downtimetv.com. We want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games. Let's go Yankees, and we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content.